It's almost midnight, our first night in the new house. Boxes still stacked in the hallway, the mattress thrown down in the living room. One lamp flickering in the corner like it's not sure it belongs here either. But somehow, it already feels more like home than the apartment ever did. We're far from the city now. No traffic, no neighbors yelling through the walls, no garbage trucks screeching at 6 a.m. Just air, space, and silence. That's the part I wasn't expecting. Out here, silence isn't peaceful. It's dense. It presses on your ears in the dark, makes you listen harder, because you're convinced you just missed something. I thought I heard something earlier, just for a second. A faint scratching. Light, almost like a mouse, or maybe the heater kicking on. But when I got up to check, everything was still. The kind of still that makes you hesitate before you breathe, like the house is waiting for something. Maybe I'm just not used to quiet anymore. Maybe I've lived too long with sirens in the distance to know what normal sounds like. Either way, I'm leaving the recorder running tonight. Not for anything dramatic, just to prove it really is this quiet. Because right now, I can't tell if the house is resting or listening. I listened to the recording this morning. Honestly, I didn't expect to hear anything. It started the way you'd imagine. The sound of me walking back to bed, the rustle of the blanket, the creak of the floorboard settling, a few hours of soft breathing, occasional shifting, normal night sounds, and then, right at 2:47, not earlier, not after, exactly at 2:47, a noise. It wasn't loud, not dramatic, just a subtle, deliberate scratching, like a nail dragged slowly across drywall. Rhythmic, careful, not frantic, like an animal, more methodical. It lasted maybe 10 seconds, 3 long strokes, then silence again. I replayed that section 5 times, tried isolating the sound, checking the waveform. Nothing unusual in the data, but the sound itself, it didn't feel accidental. I asked my wife if she'd heard anything last night. She looked at me like I was trying to start a ghost story over breakfast. She laughed, said, "You're just not used to the country yet." Maybe she's right, but I can't stop thinking about how precise it sounded. Not like something random brushing against the house. More like something trying to get my attention. I'm going to record again tonight. Not because I'm scared, just curious. I want to know if it comes back, and if it does, what it wants. Second night, I left the recorder in the same spot. Didn't say anything to anyone, just let it run. Half of me expected it to pick up nothing, and I'd go back to blaming pipes, or maybe squirrels, or just my own brain looking for patterns where there are none. But it came back, same time, 47 a.m. This time, the scratching was shorter, only once, just a single, long drag, and then breathing, not mine. It was slow, uneven, the kind of breath that catches halfway through the inhale, like it doesn't quite know what it's doing, almost mechanical, like someone trying to remember how to do it, or learning for the first time. It came and went in short bursts. Inhale, pause, exhale, another pause, then silence. No footsteps, no whispering, just that awful, heavy presence hovering in the dark. I checked the recording 4 times. It didn't sound like it was outside. It sounded closer, like it had found the microphone and was standing right in front of it. When I told Sarah, she brushed it off again, said maybe I caught myself snoring. But it doesn't sound like me. It doesn't sound like anything that should be in this house. I moved the recorder to the hallway outside Oliver's room, just in case. I don't know what I'm expecting, but I have a feeling it's not done. I couldn't stop thinking about it. The breathing, the pauses, the strange precision of it all. It wasn't random. There was a rhythm in the way it inhaled, the spacing, the hesitation. It reminded me of syllables, So I ran the latest file through a spectrogram. It took a while to clean the noise, but once it was isolated, I saw something I didn't expect. 3 distinct pulses, evenly spaced, even in shape. Not natural, not animal. It looked like language. I played that portion on loop, over and over. It started to sound like ta, ta, ta. Not quite words, but not nonsense either. A pattern. The kind you hear in speech when someone's trying to repeat a sound they've only ever heard once. It was slow, careful, like it was practicing. I told myself I was imagining things, that it was just noise pollution, some strange echo from inside the walls. But when I closed my eyes, I could hear it again. Not from the recording, from memory, like it left a shape behind, like it wanted to be remembered. Tonight I'm moving the recorder again, closer to the front wall, where I think it first came from. I did something I probably shouldn't have. Just before bed, I turned on the mic and stood in the hallway, spoke aloud, soft, casual. "Oliver's room is right here," I said. Then I added, "He's asleep. Don't wake him." I don't even know who I was talking to. Maybe I just wanted to hear my own voice in the silence. Maybe I was baiting it. I left the recorder on the floor, just outside his door, and I went to sleep. This morning, I played it back. Normal sounds for a while. House settling. Low creaks. Then, right on time. 2:47. That same slow, uneven breathing. But this time, it doesn't just breathe. It repeats something. At first, I couldn't tell what it was. The voice was broken, like it had been dragged through gravel. But I knew the rhythm. It was my voice, saying his name. Oliver. But softer. Wrong. Like someone trying to copy what I said earlier, but not understanding what it meant. And after the name, the breathing changed. It sped up, got closer, like whatever it was got excited or hungry. I didn't tell Sarah. I didn't tell Oliver. I just moved the recorder again, farther from the bedrooms, back to the main wall. But I can't stop thinking. How did it know the name mattered? And what happens when it learns how to say it right? I set the recorder outside last night, just under the front window, tucked behind the bushes. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't even mark the file. Just pressed record and walked away. I figured, if it was out there, it would show itself. And it did. 47, right on schedule. First came the wind, a short, rising gust. Then the scratching, sharp this time. Quicker, like nails across brick. And then, my voice. Clear, calm. "Are you there?" But I never said that. Not out loud. Not in the last week. Still, it was undeniably me. Same tone, same inflection. It sounded like I was whispering through the wall, like something was inside the house, and I was standing outside, trying to talk to it. I paused the playback, just sat there listening to nothing. It felt wrong, not just because of the voice, but because I could feel it. That moment, I remembered lying in bed last night, thinking those exact words. I hadn't spoken them, but I'd thought them. "Are you there?" And now they were on the tape. It's not just listening anymore. It's inside the moments, repeating me before I speak. The newest recording is longer. The breathing starts early, before 2:47, like it couldn't wait. I almost stopped listening. I knew what I'd hear, the rhythm, the scratch, maybe another stolen whisper. But then, it started speaking. Not a full sentence, not quite, but close. "He's asleep. Don't wake him." It was my voice, the same words I said in the hallway 2 nights ago, but out of order, stitched together. The pacing was off. The breath between phrases wasn't natural. It sounded like a bad edit, like someone had taken pieces of me and tried to build a sentence. It kept going, snippets from old recordings, bits I'd spoken days apart, Are you there? I hear you. It's quiet here. All in my voice, but never in that sequence. And then, a pause, followed by one new phrase, something I'd never said, not ever. Let me talk. Not a request, not pleading, just a fact. Like it believed it had the right. I couldn't wait for the morning anymore. Not after the last tape. I needed to hear it when it happened. So tonight, I sat up, plugged in the mic, headphones on, recording software open, real-time monitoring. I just listened. At first, it was the usual silence, the house breathing, my own breath in the room, soft and steady. But then, another breath, not mine, not behind me, inside the headphones. A second rhythm, quiet, careful, almost like it was trying not to interrupt me, like it was learning how I breathe. I held my breath. It did too. I exhaled. So did it. But a beat late, always just a little behind, like it wasn't copying. It was following. And then it spoke. One line, in my voice. Don't stop listening. I yanked off the headphones, closed the program, pulled the plug, but I could still feel it, like the words hadn't come from the speaker, but from inside my skull. It doesn't want to be heard. It wants to be listened to. That's different. Sarah took Oliver to her sister's for the weekend. I told her it was work, told her I needed to catch up. That was a lie. I just needed to be alone, to see if it still came when no one else was here. I set up the mic again, same place, same software. Headphones on too. 47 came and went. Nothing. For the first time in a week, I thought maybe it was over. But then, 3:01, late, intentional. The static hit first, like a short burst of white noise, then gone. And then, his voice, Oliver. It said, "Dad, you're in the hallway." I froze, because I was, sitting on the floor, back to the wall. No windows nearby, no reflection, no cameras. But it knew. Then it said, "You're scared." Not a question, a confirmation. And it was right. The voice was wrong, too flat, too even. It sounded like Oliver, but without the life. Like someone remembered what he sounded like and tried to build him from memory. I shut everything off, but I can still hear it, even now, like it's rehearsing in the walls, waiting for me to press record again. I didn't remember falling asleep, just woke up on the hallway floor, back aching, headphones still on, recorder still running. The mic light was red, the file was saved. I didn't name it. It titled itself, Final Entry, Wave. I played it. Of course I did. The voice was clear, no static, no breathing, just me. Not like before, not stitched, not copied. This was full, alive. It said, "You don't have to listen anymore. I've learned enough. You can sleep now." And then silence, a real one, heavy, complete. I stared at the waveform. No irregularities, no glitches, no anomalies. Just my voice, sounding like I'd finally found peace. Only I never said those words, but I believed them, because they felt right. And now, when I try to speak, I hesitate, because sometimes, just for a moment, I hear something else start the sentence, and I let it.